Okay, well, good morning, everyone. Welcome. Welcome to Biology 260 Microbiology. Hopefully that's why you're here. I'm super excited to get started with you this quarter and get to know you and go through all this fun material. So let's see. It looks like actually we have everyone here, which is pretty amazing. So we're just going to dive right in. If you haven't done so already, do this first instruction. Write your last name, first name into the chat. You're always going to sign in this way. Even if you come late, it should be the first thing that you do. Your participation in this live stream depends on your contribution to the chat. So you want to put this in first. You're currently muted and you want to stay that way unless you actually need to say something. So I'll say this a couple times, but if you do need to speak, you'll unmute, say what you have to say, and then remute. There is a way to indicate that you have a question. We'll go through all of that. We're about to do an audio check, not this second, but very soon, in order to make sure that your microphone is working and also so that I can get to know you and how to say your name. You also have video options on the lower left of your little dash bar with all the little icons on it. Next to the mute is the video button. So you're going to have it on for right now, but as soon as we start lecture, we're going to turn it off. Okay. And then I'm going to talk to you about some of the other options. So make sure you do this first part, the sign in. As I said, your audio is muted by default, but if you need to ask or answer a question, like if I ask you a question, make sure to unmute. Otherwise I can't hear you. As soon as you're done speaking, remute, please. Okay. I do have the power of mute. I can mute everybody. So if you accidentally leave your video or your audio on and we can hear your dog, your children, and your argument that you're having with your spouse in the background, I will turn that off. So don't worry, but I will maybe not be as fast as you. The video by default will be off. So you can leave it on right now because we're about to do a little, like just a really brief intro. But the video by default should be off for most of the lecture because otherwise there's a bit of a lag. So I'll let you know when to turn your video off. It can be on for now. But when I start like real lecture or sort of the more like content heavy part of the quarter, then we'll turn that video off. I do want to let you know about a couple of options if you're just not like super familiar with Zoom. Video options include a speaker view, a gallery view. And the difference is speaker view means that you'll see in the main field whoever's speaking, which is usually going to be me. So I'd recommend that for a lecture. There is a gallery view as well where you see everybody on the screen at the same time, and that's great for discussion, which we'll do at the end. And it's really important to use that for breakout sessions, which we'll do one today. There's also a virtual background option. As you can see, this is not really where I am right now, although I wish. So that is an option. If you go to the video button, there's a little drop-down menu. You can choose a virtual background. If there's not any options in there, you can actually upload some images there. So just something to think about for fun. And then again, just to reiterate this part, when I'm actually giving the more content heavy part of the class, you want to mute yourself and turn your video off to reduce lag. Because what happens towards about 11:30 is we sometimes see a little bit of a slowing down and a breaking up, and that reduces everyone's quality of their experience. Okay. So let's do our little AV check / intro. Okay, we're going to do a second breakout based intro later on, but for right now, we're going to just do this really quick. So it's going to take a minute, so just kind of hang in there for it. You're currently on mute. Keep it that way, but I'm going to go through the chat, and when I call your name, when you hear me call your name, you'll press unmute, and what you're going to do is you're going to say, hi, I'm, and then clearly pronounce your name. This is so that I know that I haven't mangled it, or if I have, then you can correct me, and it's on my recording so that I can go back and figure out how to say your name. Also, during this whole quarter, if I say your name wrong, like I'm asking a question, hey, Susan, can you answer this question? Please, the first thing you say should be, oh yeah, it's Suzanne, so that I can get educated, please. Okay. And then as soon as you're done speaking, you'll remute and I'll go on to the next person. The video should be on right now just so that I can see you. And then we'll turn it off after this AV check is done. I'm going to actually stop screen sharing so that I can see you better. Okay. All right. So let's go to the chat and hold on one second. My chat has disappeared. I just need 1 second to find it. Hold on. There we go. All right. Let's start with Abby at the top. Just unmute, clearly say your name and then remute.
Hi, my name is Abby Josephitis.
Thank you. All right, Alexander Marshall, go ahead.
Hi, I'm Alexander Marshall, but I prefer Alex.
Perfect, and thank you for saying what you prefer. I really appreciate that. Let's go to Celeste.
Hi, I'm Celeste.
Excellent, thank you. Linda?
Hi, sorry. Hi, I'm Linda, but you can call me Lynn.
Can you say that a little bit louder, Linda? I couldn't quite hear you.
Hi, I'm Linda, but you can call me Lynn. Just L-I-N.
L-I-N, thank you, Lynn. I appreciate that. Excellent. Annika, let's go to you.
Hi, my name is Annika Carnelia.
Thank you, Annika. All right, Amber.
Hi, I'm Amber.
Hi, Amber. Thank you. It looks like Celeste, you got your audio problems solved. Thank you. Okay, Diana.
Hi, I'm Diana Hudson.
Thank you. All right. Let's go to Athenia.
Hi, I'm Athena.
Athena, thank you, Athena. All right. Christine McEwen.
Hi, I'm Christine.
Hi, Christine, thank you. All right. Courtney.
Hi, I'm Courtney.
Excellent, thank you, Courtney. All right, Paisley.
Hi, I'm Paisley.
Hi, Paisley, thank you. Joanna Gomez.
Hi, I'm Joanna.
Hi, Joanna, thank you. Marissa Sweden.
Hi, my name's Marissa. It's Swedine.
Swedine, thank you. All right, Leah Smith.
Hi, I'm Leah.
Excellent, thank you. Jessica Bolster.
Hi, I'm Jessica.
Hi, Jessica, thank you. Carrie Ann Paxton.
Hi, I'm Carrie Ann.
Excellent, thank you, Carrie Ann. Anna Clough.
Hi, I'm Anna Clough.
Anna, thank you, Anna. All right, Abby Selbeck.
Hey, I'm Abby.
Hi, Abby, thank you. Anthony Ruiz.
Hi, I'm Anthony.
Excellent. Lucas Henson.
Hello, I'm Lucas.
Hey, Lucas. All right, Justine Bailey.
Hi, I'm Justine.
Hi, Justine. All right, Dylan Madison.
Hey, I'm Dylan.
Hey there, Dylan. Nice to see you. Maria DeGang.
Hi, I'm Maria.
Hi, Maria. All right, Rebecca Hawthorne.
Hi, I'm Rebecca. You can call me Becca, though.
Hi, Becca. Thank you. Michaela Billings.
Hi, I'm Michaela.
Hey, Michaela. All right, Karen DeMercer.
Hi, I'm Karen.
Hi, Karen. Thank you. Hannah Kabid.
Hi, I'm Hannah. Actually, it's Cabeda.
Cabeda. Thank you, Hannah. Angela Soriano.
Hi, I'm Angela.
Hi, Angela. Thank you. Jordan LeClaire.
Hi, I'm Jordan.
Hey, Jordan. All right. And last but not least, Edgar Medina.
Hi, I'm Edgar Medina.
All right. Did I miss anyone? If I missed anyone, please unmute and say your name.
Hi, I'm Jackie.
Hi, Jackie. Did you put yourself into chat yet?
I don't know.
Go ahead and just find the chat button and put your name in real quick for me. Thank you so much.
Okay, yeah, thanks.
All right, did I miss anyone else? All right. So we have done that. Thank you very much. You'll have a chance to say hi to a few people in a breakout shortly. I want to let you know kind of what we're going to be covering today. In addition to getting introduced to the class, I'm going to introduce you to the tools that we'll use in this class. So screen share is what you're looking at right now. And so you should be able to see on one side of your screen a bunch of people's faces. And right now, if you can go ahead and turn your video off, that would be great. And then in the main part of the screen, you should see my slides. Okay, do let me know if that's not the case. So we're going to use breakout rooms, and we're going to use reactions, which include raise your hand, yes, no, and we're also going to use chat. We're going to use a tool called the cold call reflection, and also something called Kahoot, which is not a Zoom tool actually, but something we'll use quite often, and it's a really fun. Okay, so the class. Here you are, you made it today, congratulations. So you know that there's a live stream component. It's on Tuesdays and Thursdays at this time. Your section, of course, being 10 to noon, so that's the one you want to attend. Your participation is graded. When you are asked questions, you need to put them into the chat. And I don't need you to write an answer to every single one. Like if you went on a bathroom break and you missed a question, that's okay. But most of them, okay? And that's how you get your grade for the participation part. There are 18 lecture days plus 4 exam days. And of those 18 lecture days, you can miss 3 with no consequence. So I know that sometimes life is crazy. There is a recording of this that will get posted after for those few days that you might miss. And there's one additional makeup, which you'd have to email me to get instructions to complete. So the live stream recording will be posted after each class. It takes probably about 4 hours for me to do it, but it does not take the place of attendance. If you can't attend this class regularly, we need to consider other options. There's a non-mandatory, so optional lab hour each week. These 3 times are the options. They're all the same. So you could just attend whichever one makes sense for your schedule. But if none of them do, then you don't have to go. If possible, it's nice if all of your lab members can attend the same one, if you're that flexible. If you're not, just pick one that works for you and try to stick to it consistently. There are a few of you who let me know in the survey that that's not going to be possible, either that you can't attend at all or that you have to switch around depending on your weekly schedule. And that's just fine. But ideally, we'll try to keep it as consistent as we can. These are the exam dates. The exam is proctored in this time slot. There's an optional final on a Thursday at the end of the quarter. So if you have a conflict with a class that's coming up and you know that ahead of time, you can just email me, kind of give me the situation, and I'll tell you what your options are. If you're going to miss an exam and you know that ahead of time, let me know and we'll figure something out. The sooner you can tell me ahead of time, the better. The orientation module, it's due by Wednesday, so go do it. It includes the syllabus and our schedule. And I'm going to do a little screen sharing with you in a second to look at that together. You need to review all of the pages, and I know there's a lot of them. And also you want to join a lab group. So the instructions for doing that are in the orientation module as well. And I'll briefly go over it. The lab kit is now ready. We got super organized this quarter. We don't have to wait. You can go ahead and order it right away. When you order it, do make sure to follow all the instructions on the lab kit ordering page. Don't put in multiple orders. If you put in an order and something seems wonky, just call them and they'll fix it. It's a small local company. When your kit arrives, it needs to be refrigerated. And if anything is wrong with the kit, like something got damaged or is not, functional when it arrives, then contact them and they'll probably be able to replace it for you. There's 2 options, shipping and will call. Shipping is an additional $20 on top of the roughly $90 for the kit. And will call is free, but you have to go to Monroe. So you need to have a car or some kind of transportation. The orientation quiz is also due. The lab safety quiz is part of that. You need to do that. And then there's a questions forum if you have questions that you didn't get a chance to ask in today or on Thursday or in one of the lab sessions. If you have a question that's personal, so it's like about a grade or about your scheduling or some personal circumstance, then email me directly here. Okay, so we're going to look at these weekly modules together. And I just want to say up front, when you're going through the course, please use the weekly modules. They're organized the way they are for a reason. When you go to the main homepage, you'll see on the right-hand side that there are a bunch of hot links to upcoming assignments. If you click those with no context without having gone through the weekly modules, you're unlikely to be successful. So what's in them? An overview page at the start that says, hey, what's happening this week? Typically, although not this week because I didn't want to overwhelm you, but typically the unit study guide is there. So there's 3 units. Unit 1, the study guide is actually already available in the week 2 module. The weekly topic page, so whatever we're covering, there's going to be a page there. So I'll show that with you in a second. The live stream link for this and recordings when they're ready. Also lab information and instructions, as well as deadlines and assignments. The labs are also redundantly organized into a separate module for convenience. Assignments and quizzes that are due are also in that weekly module. So we're going to go look at Canvas together right now. So let me share my screen with you. All right, of course I'm in the wrong course shell. Here we go. So always go to modules. That's where you should go first. And you can see there's the orientation module that you have to really just click through, just slog through that whole thing. I know I'm very wordy, so just skim through every page, make sure you get all the info that you need. Here's how to order your lab kit. And then there's various other pieces of information that you're going to need. Okay, and then this is what you need to do by Wednesday for the orientation. Okay, so what about week 1? And this is very typical. So there's an overview page, and that says basically, here's what we're doing, and here's all the things you need to do in kind of big picture. And then this just happens to have some info. In subsequent weeks, this is where the unit study guide would be. Now, here's the topic we're covering this week. It's Introduction to the Field, kind of big picture. And then it says, you know, step by step what to do. Read the chapter. Sometimes there's a pre-quiz, not this week. Here are the lecture slides that go with these videos. You must watch these before class. So what we're going to cover on Thursday is this page basically, but not really this way. So you have to absorb all this material, skim the chapter, watch all these videos before Thursday. And that should be your sort of like standard practice, is you know what's coming up in the Zoom meeting, what we're going to cover, so you prepare ahead of time. This is a flipped class, so don't show up without knowing that stuff or having taken the time to watch that stuff, unless you absolutely can't avoid it. Of course, show up if you didn't get a chance to do that. I'm not going to like slam the hammer down or anything, but you will not get as much out of it if you don't prepare ahead of time. Hold on, there's a question here. Go ahead, Alex, what's your question?
So you said that we have to do this by Thursday. So is each week, are we supposed to do the readings before the Tuesday, or is it just the Thursday?
Yeah, so on Tuesday coming next week, we're starting the microscopy section. And so I'm expecting you to take the weekend to do the microscopy prep.
Yeah. Okay, thank you.
And then the following week we'll go to cells. So you'll do the cell prep over the weekend and so on. We won't get through all of it on Tuesday. Of course, we'll have to spill over to Thursday, but you kind of want to have just gotten it out of the way because the rest of the week is busy. You've got lab stuff going on then. So really your prep should be done on the weekend, except for, of course, this week that would be unreasonable. So prepare for Thursday, but typically you're going to be preparing for Tuesday. Great question. Okay, so let's see. There is, I'm just going to skip out to modules, directly to modules, so we can see it kind of from this view. There's also going to be a page that will populate later today where I put the live stream recording. So here's the topic page for microbiology. Here is the information for how to Zoom. And then here's going to be a page that has the recording from today and the slide deck that I'm using. And Thursday's slide deck and page will also, this will pre-populate and it'll have a pre-post kind of skeleton version of the slides so that you can have those open while you're in Thursday's class and fill out the information as you want to. There's also a lab section, so we have a quick look at that, but we're going to talk about this in more detail in the lab meeting. It kind of lays out all the things you have to read and do. And then let's go back out to modules so you can kind of see it again from that big picture. Oh dear. Okay, so now we get to the to-do section. Okay, so there is a group discussion that you need to post in by Friday. A pre-lab quiz that's due Friday. Typically the discussion and quiz is actually due Thursday, but again, we're, you know, everything is a little bit shifted because we're just starting out the quarter. There's a review quiz of the topic that we'll cover on Thursday that's due by Sunday. It's unlimited attempts. You can retake it. And you could even start taking it today just for fun, depending on how you learn. Maybe you learn best by having to struggle. So that's not trying to prevent you from doing that. I would encourage that actually. There's a Lab 1 Dropbox and a post Lab 1 quiz. These need to be completed by Sunday. So our first lab is going to be a little bit, you're going to have to just hit the ground running with that. Okay. So all of this page kind of goes through what you need to do for lab, but also Lab 1 is separately organized into this module, just so you can kind of have it if this is a better organization for you. And that's going to be really typical. So Lab 2 is also set up that way. There's a page here that has all the links, but you could also just go to the module. Okay, let's go back to our slides. All right, so for the lecture, you do want to do the prep, as I said. So you're going to look at the schedule that's in Canvas, and you're going to see what's coming up. And before that topic hits, you're going to, usually on the weekend, do your time, take that time to read the textbook, watch the lectures, read the slides, ask any questions. Often there's a pre-quiz. That's just kind of a non-graded, so not for credit, multi-question thing that has, some questions that are designed both to kind of stir up the background you should already have from cell biology and other courses, and also kind of challenge you a little bit so you're mentally prepared for the topic. And it's unlimited attempts. The answer key will not post until after the class has the live stream has actually happened. Make sure you go to that topic page, watch the video lectures, read the slides, come to the Zoom meetings, and then study. So the studying will include using that review quiz, which is unlimited attempts, but it has a deadline and is graded. There is a unit study guide. Again, the first place you'll see that is in week 2. As you go through the study guide, it's usually very useful to do it right after class, as soon as you can after the Zoom session, when you've did your prep, you've done the pre-quiz, you've done the Zoom session, you did the post-quiz, and now go to that unit study guide and fill it out. And then if you run into a question you're not sure how to answer, or you're not sure that it's answered correctly or fully, you can ask me questions. All right, you're going to need every study tool in your arsenal. This is a challenging class. It's fun, but it's challenging. And for most people, I'm not going to say what I know. I don't know what your experience is going to be, but most people say it's the most challenging class they've had to date. So you really kind of need to up your level, and then it's going to prepare you to sort of move to that next step, which is most of you is going to be some kind of medical career, and primarily for many people, nursing. Okay, what about these quizzes and tests? We've already talked about the review quizzes, typically due on a Sunday, no time limit, which is to say when you start the quiz, you've got oodles of time, but there is a hard deadline. And unlimited attempts, so retake it as much as you want. Again, the first review quiz is due this Sunday, and it's for the topic we'll cover on Thursday. There are 3 unit tests, unit 1, 2, and 3, on these dates, and an optional final. It's optional because of these 4 exams, whichever one is the lowest, I drop it. If you don't take the final at all, then that's the one that gets dropped, and then your grade depends on these 3 tests. It's a very significant portion of your grade. Half of your grade comes from these exams. So this is where you should put a lot of your focus. Also, the tests are going to be the hardest part for almost everybody in the class. So just know that they are challenging. All right, lab 1. So don't forget, by Wednesday, make sure you have joined a lab group if you want to have a say in which lab group you're in. If you already have people in the class and you want to be with them, you have until Wednesday to make that happen. Thursday morning, I just start throwing people in to lab groups that are available. Paisley, what's your question?
For the tests, are they open note or no?
Great question. Thank you for asking that. Yes, ish. So they are open hard copy. You can have your textbook open, you can have your notes open. You could even have digital things as long as they're on a device that's not connected to the internet. You are specifically and directly prohibited from Googling, or from calling a friend, or from talking to anybody during the exam. This is purely individual, and Google is not going to be your help. So it's only open book in that sort of static sense, if that makes sense. Great question. Thank you for asking that. Also, you are, it's proctored partially through Zoom. We do an ID check. And then there's a watchdog on your keyboard that will notice if you go to another another website. Okay, so lab 1 is due Sunday. Part of it is independent, part of it's group work. Okay, so the first part is you're going to do some research and look up some names of bugs that live in various places, and you're going to be responsible to pick 5 names, and other people in your group will do the other ones. And so you want to get started on that pretty soon. The discussion and the pre-lab quiz that goes with that is due Friday. Normally it's going to be due Thursday, but I needed to give you a little extra time because you won't even be in your lab groups yet. But basically by Friday, you need to have definitely read lab 1 background and introduction, done the pre-lab quiz, and posted in the lab discussion saying that I'm going to do this part of the group work. There is an optional lab meeting. Remember those 3 times, pick one and be consistent, and then finish your lab by Sunday. It is really important that you share the group work part that you've done with your classmates before Sunday, so Saturday perhaps at the latest, so that they have enough time to integrate it into their submission. Then you'll submit everything to the Dropbox, take the quiz, and you're done. Okay, so just a kind of heads up of what the labs normally kind of look like. Lab 1, we've just laid out, is fully digital and has a slightly different deadline for the first part. Lab 2, 4, 5, and 7 are also similarly virtual. The discussion and pre-lab will be due Thursday instead of Friday. Your discussion post where you share your group work is due Saturday, and then the actual deliverables are due Sunday each week. But lab 3 and 6 uses your lab kit, and there's quite a bit of growing stuff, and that stuff takes time to grow. So you actually have an extra week. Your first post in your discussion and pre-lab and all that stuff is not due until Sunday of the week that it's assigned. And then all of the other stuff is not due till the following Sunday. This is to give you some time to grow your bugs, but you should all kind of start on time, right? Otherwise you will run out of time. It takes about 3 days for the growth part, and then it could be another 3 days if you mess it up and have to start over. All right, a reminder again, order that lab kit. If you're waiting to order the lab kit for financial reasons, which is understandable, I know some of you are on financial aid or other types of things, you can order it as late as this coming Monday and still have it on time, because we're going to use it in lab 3. So you really, if you had to wait until then, that's fine. But you want to order it by Monday so that there's time for them to process the order and ship it to you. Okay, just a really quick, wanted to share in case you were not feeling very sure how to join a lab group. If that's something that you want to do, if you don't want to rely on me to put you in with people, then you want to go to the people tab, find, I think in the student view, this actually is called just groups. For some reason, it doesn't show up as lab groups in my student view. I don't know why. But when you click this second tab, you'll see these options. So some people have already formed their lab groups. So if you care about who you're with and you want to collaborate, you can say, hey, Jessica, I'd like to be with you, and can we go to lab group E because there's enough spots for us both. Okay. Otherwise, wait till Thursday and I will roll my magic dice and put you where I put you. Okay. Oops, that is not what I wanted. There we go. All right, just a reminder when the optional lab meetings are. The first one is tomorrow night, if that's the best time for you. Otherwise, middle of the day Thursday is going to be probably the best time for most of you, is my guess. It's just a little bit after our normal class session. And then for those of you that have a really funky schedule, Saturday morning also available. This same link that you are attending today is the one for lab meeting, and this kind of walks you through how to do the lab kit ordering. It's also online, but just a reminder, don't put your order in multiple times. When you go to this website, you're looking for the microbiology kit, not the cell biology kit. And you would know because the price is very different. The cell biology kit will seem like more appealing because it's cheaper. I think it's only $30. Put in your information, either choose shipping or will call, but shipping is more expensive. If you want to do will call, then what will happen? So once you put in your order, it probably takes about 2 days to ship, and it could be a little bit longer depending on how long it takes for them to process the order. And then if you are going to do will call, you actually have to wait for them to contact you to say, hey, it's ready. If you don't get a contact within 1 or 2 days, I would call them and say, hey, did you call me or did you email me and it just didn't go through? All right. Lynn, go ahead.
Hi, so I have my kit, right? How many petri dishes do you think we'll use for the quarter? Because I still have some left over.
So you have some left over from last quarter?
Yes.
I see. Okay.
I still have around, there's like a full, like I'd say
That's a good
7 that I
question.
haven't opened yet, and there's like 4 that I haven't touched.
Okay. And so you haven't ordered the new kit, that's what you're saying?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. Can you do me a favor? Do you have time to stick around for like 5 minutes at the end of class?
Yes, I do.
Perfect. So we'll do that in the Q&A so that I can do a better tally and then give you more direct instruction, because it is possible for you to contact the company and say, hey, here's what I have. Can you just send me a smaller version of this?
Okay.
Yeah. But we need to make sure, because you're going to need like, the media is the most expensive part. It may be possible to reduce your cost by getting a custom kit based on what you have left.
Okay, thank you.
Great question. Okay. I'm going to go through this pretty quickly. It's just more of a, come to Jesus moment, but you all don't really need this. You're, pros and you know what the drill is. But, the rule of thumb is that a course that's 5 credits takes 15 hours. But to be honest, that's a little bit BS in this course. It's going to be more. And some of you may find it's a lot more. So I just don't want to sugarcoat that. It's really a very time intensive class. You want to stay on schedule. You want to do all the things by their deadlines or earlier, and make sure you do your prep for this live stream. With the labs, actually some of this information is wrong. I'm so sorry. Do them by the deadlines, and do have some compassion for your lab mates. For the group collaborative work, prioritize getting the section that you said you would do to them by Saturday so they don't panic. In general, stay on schedule, meet deadlines, study consistently and efficiently. So, you know yourself best as a learner. What works for you? Do those things. Also, probably do some new things. And don't be afraid to ask me questions. Ask me questions as much as you like, and ask each other questions, and ask questions in this class, and ask questions in lab meeting, and email me with questions. If you email me a question and you haven't received a reply within 2 days, it just means I've got a lot of emails and you should email me again. So you should never feel like you're bugging me. It's just I get a lot of email, and if I miss yours, I really would hate for you to just sit around waiting for an answer. Okay, so that's pretty much all I want to say about that. Do everything you did before to succeed, and then add some more things, because like I said, this is going to be a challenging class. Very briefly, what qualifies me to be your teacher? I have spent several decades as a researcher studying things that required either a microscope or indirect biochemical assays, because the molecules were too small to be seen with a microscope. And during most of that time, I was teaching as a hobby because I liked it and it kept me sane and gave me something fun to do. And around 2015, I transitioned to full-time teaching because I realized that while I loved research and it was really interesting, my real talent and passion was teaching. I also teach dance, partner dance, although as you probably can imagine, the pandemic has changed that considerably. And I also have a very full house. So if you do too, if you have lots of children and adults and pets and craziness in your very small house, then you have my sympathy and empathy. All right, so that's enough of me talking. Let's do a little breakout. Because you don't have your lab groups yet, normally I try to put people into breakouts that resemble their lab groups, but we don't, we really can't do that right now. So I'm going to, let's see, create some breakout rooms. Whoops. Make them a little bit bigger. That seemed kind of, okay. So what we're going to do for the breakout is I'm going to set up these smaller digital rooms that you'll go to. Remember to turn your video on as you're transferring. So what will happen, and it won't happen right this second, is I have to press a button. But when I press the button, you'll see an invitation on your screen and you'll accept it. And there's just a little bit of a lag, like you're going, beaming up from the planet to the spaceship. And then you'll end up in this smaller room. And what you should do is turn your video on and switch to gallery view so you can see everybody. Then do the activity, which I will describe in a second. in breakouts. Probably not this one because it's so short, but sometimes I'll float by. I might pop up in your breakout and say, how's it going, people? And then leave again. So don't be shocked if that happens. So what are we going to do in this first breakout? What I'd like you to do is you're going to share with this smaller group of people one fun fact about yourself. Okay, so just take a second right now to think about what that is so you feel prepared and not stressed out. So you're going to think about what's one thing I want to share with these people, like what I'm going to do with my future, what the name of my dog is, my most favorite vacation spot, my favorite food, whatever it might be, that, you know, your hobbies or whatever, but one thing. So once you have that sort of like figured out, when I open these rooms, you'll accept the invitation, and then you're going to be in a room with about 6 people. So I'd like you to appoint one of those people to be the reporter. Okay, so if you're maybe the first person who shows up in the room or the second, and then once everyone's sort of filed in, if you just say, hey, I volunteer myself. And so that person who's the reporter is going to be taking notes. You'll go through the breakout room. You'll have each person will say their name and that one thing. The reporter will take those notes and be ready to share it out. Okay, and here's what that share out might look like if you are the reporter. When it's your turn to share, you might say, Rebecca loves sushi, Jeff wants to be a dental hygienist, I'm Dad, and my dog is Mr. Wiggles. Okay, but there's going to be 6 of you. So here we go. Hold on one second. I'm going to make them slightly. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So gosh. Okay, so you will probably have either 4 or 5 people in your room. Here we go. Welcome back. Okay, so we're going to use some of these other Zoom tools to do the share out part. So we're going to first go on that same little bar that you have your mute button and your video button. There is also a reactions button. And if you use that, some of you have already started using it. If you click that button, it gives you options. The options include a raise your hand. Also, they include a yes, no. So we can do polling and we can do raise your hand. Then we'll talk about the chat box and the Kahoot. So from the participants menu, find that raise your hand and try it. So raise your hand, and then if you click it again, you'll lower your hand. It'll look like a wave on my screen. You won't be able to see it, but it is amazing. Okay, I feel like I'm at a baseball game. Perfect. Fabulous. All right. So that is basically how you can get my attention during the class. And sometimes I'll solicit that. I'll ask you to please raise your hand so that I can see sort of how, what you're thinking about things. Okay. All right. So now I am going to lower all hands. If you have a question at this point, go ahead and use the raise your hand to ask it. But otherwise, we'll move on. Okay, so we're going to use it for the share out, and it's just going to be now the reporters. So if you were the reporter for the breakout that we just did, go ahead and click the raise your hand and just leave it raised, and then I'll call on you in order that I see those hands. And so what you're going to do when your hand goes up is when I call your name, I would like you to unmute and then just go through your notes. Say, you know, the name of the people and what their fun fact was that they shared. So here's just an example of what it might sound like. Mary is an EMT. Carla likes Thai food. Kevin has 2 kids. Shannon is from Germany. I'm Harry and I served in the Air Force. Okay, and we're going to start with reporter Justine. Don't forget to unmute Justine.
So to start, Courtney likes hiking. Karen has 3 kids and everyone's doing school at home right now. Dylan went scuba diving with a tiger shark, and Annika has a full house with a cat who likes to rattle the door. And I was born in Hawaii.
Excellent. Okay, fabulous. Thank you. All right, so our next contestant is Marissa. Marissa, what did you learn in your breakout?
Lynn likes to play the piano. Celeste wants to be a labor and delivery nurse. Athena wants to be a night shift nurse, but she's not sure exactly what department she wants to be in. And my name's Marissa, and I also want to be a labor and delivery nurse.
Excellent. Okay. Paisley, go ahead.
Jessica de-stresses by making dream catchers. Kristen loves to sew. She got a sewing machine for Christmas. Anthony's been playing soccer since he was little, and I like to do crocheting. And we're all heading to the nursing program.
Excellent. All right. Amber, what did you learn?
Hi. Okay. I learned that Jackie has 3 dogs. Carrie Ann is a competitive swimmer. Maria wants to be a CNA. And Edgar is a CNA at Prov, which I am too. So is Jackie. And I've been a CNA for 13 years, and this is my last quarter of prereqs.
Fabulous. Excellent. Thank you for that. All right. Let's go to Alex.
Okay, so first, everybody in my group wants to be a nurse, so that's cool. Hannah is a full-time mom with 3 kids. Lucas has 2 cats. Becca's favorite animal is goats. Leah just moved here last month, and she used to be in the Navy. And I'm Alex, and I like scuba diving.
Fabulous. Okay. All right, let's go to Abby.
In my group, I learned that Joanna is left-handed, Anna loves chickens, Angela has a dog named Yogi, and I'm Abby, and my dog's name is Archie.
Excellent. Okay. Last but not least is Jordan.
Hello. All right, so in my group, I learned that Diana has 2 bachelors already, which is really cool. They're in sociology and cultural anthropology, and she's still here, so she's still doing stuff. Michaela loves baking and obviously loves the Great British Baking Show. Abby flies planes 152s in specifics. And Jordan has been to Israel and plays the kazoo.
Fabulous. Okay. Did I miss any group or any person? All right. Fabulous, fabulous. Let's go back to the... Okay, well, thank you for doing that with me. The next thing we're going to do is test our yes, no button. Okay, so I'm going to show you a series of statements, and you're going to use your yes, no button to true, false them. So if you think the statement is true, you'll press yes, which is the green check mark. And if you think the statement is false, you'll press no, which is the red X. Okay, and then we'll just see how we do. Let me get my participants back up here. What happened to them? Oh dear, there we go. Much better. Okay, first statement. Yes, true, no, false. What do you think? Okay. More people think no, it is false. And the statement is viruses cannot be seen with a light microscope. That's a true statement. It's a true statement. You cannot see a virus with a light microscope. It's too small. All right, next statement. Protozoans are prokaryotes. Is this true? Yes, or is it no? False. Okay, this one looks like more like a 70-30 split with the no's being predominant, and that is accurate. This is a false statement. Protozoans are single-celled eukaryotic cells in that kingdom Protista, the animal-like ones with no cell wall. All right, cells in domain archaea are prokaryotes. Yes or no? Is this true or is this false? Great. Okay. I would say that was a 90-10 split with the yeses. This is a true statement. Domain archaea and domain bacteria are both prokaryotic domains. Eukarya is the only eukaryotic domain. All right, how about this one? All cells have a cell wall. Is this true or is this false? All right, as rarely happens in an election, the answer is unanimously false, and that is accurate. Some cells have a cell wall, like bacteria, most archaeans, and plants and fungi, and others don't, like you and protozoans. Bacterial cell walls are made of peptidoglycan. Is this true or is this false? Okay, we got pretty close to unanimous on this one also. Everyone, for the most part, thought this was true, and that's accurate. This is the special signature molecule in bacteria. It's not found in archaean cell walls. It's not found in fungus. It's not found in plants. So peptidoglycan is a signature molecule in bacterial cell walls. What about this statement? Viruses contain genetic material. Is this true or is it false? A little more hesitancy with this one, okay? The majority still carried the day. This is a true statement. Viruses contain either RNA or DNA, never both. Coronavirus is an RNA-based virus. Viruses contain ribosomes. Is this true or false? Excellent. That is false, as most of you said. It is one of the things that viruses need in order to replicate, and that is why they require host cells like us or bacteria or whatever their host might be. The host has the ribosomes, they do not. Okay, we're going to do a brief chat. You've already used the chat actually to put in your sign in, but we're going to use it for this little pre-quiz. Okay, so make sure you've got your chat box ready, and you're going to fill in the blanks. So into your one chat, you're going to put the answer to this and this, just separated by a space or a comma. So cells are usually measured in what metric unit, and viruses in what metric unit? This is when I tell you, if you don't know an answer, you can always put a question mark in so that you at least get credit for having tried. So you would put, if you had no clue, you would put in 2 question marks. If you want to wait half a second and read the chat and decide if other people's answers are correct, you can do that. It's not cheating, it's just pure learning, but you do have to respond. Okay, great job. So cells are measured in micrometers usually. Micrometers, this is the sign for UM is micrometers. And viruses are measured typically in nanometers. Okay, what about this one? Again, you're going to put 2 words in and separate them by a comma or a space. Micrometers are 1,000 times. Here you are either going to put the word larger or smaller. Micrometers are 1,000 times larger or smaller than nanometers, and 1,000 times larger or smaller than millimeters. And again, if you're not sure, you can always put in question marks. That's totally legit. I'm not grading for content, I'm grading for participation. Good. Okay. Micrometers are 1,000 times larger than nanometers and 1,000 times smaller than millimeters. So we've got meters, then 1,000 times smaller is millimeters, and 1,000 times smaller than that is micrometers, and 1,000 times smaller than that is nanometers. And if you care, 1,000 times smaller than that is picometers. Okay, good. So we're gonna take our break in a second here, but when we come back, we're gonna do the Kahoot. It's not really a Zoom tool, but it is a fun quiz tool that I use frequently. So to make sure we hit the ground running with this, I am gonna have you set it up. You know, you could do it as you come back from your break, but just I'm gonna give you the information now because it can take a second. So what you'll do is, there's actually two ways to access Zoom. If you prefer it as an app, you can download it onto your phone or device. But since you haven't had a chance to do that, for right now, you could go to a web browser and open this website, kahoot.it, or you could go to your phone and open it and put in the PIN. So when you go to this website, it'll ask you for a PIN, and this is the PIN that you'll put in. This is an incorrect, hold on one second. Hold on one second here. I need to, there we go. We are going to be back at 11:05. Okay. So you don't have to do this right this second. You could do it like in 5 minutes from now. Just make sure that when you come back from your break, you are logged in to kahoot.it and you have put this PIN in. Okay, so I will see you guys in 10 minutes. Enjoy your break. All right, welcome back, everyone. I am going to share the Kahoot screen with you. Let's see how we're doing. Also going to share the sound, which is the best part. Okay, let's get logged in, please. We're almost there. Just need 2 more people to log in and then we will be set. Now, if you're having trouble logging in or if you get kicked out, this PIN actually will display at the bottom right of the screen. And so you can rejoin. And if joining is just not an option for whatever reason, you can always write your answers into the chat. All right, let's get going here. I'm just going to pull up my chat. And in case anyone has to use that instead, and we will get started. All right, these questions should be mostly familiar, just so you can get the sense of how this works. So this is a true or false. Viruses cannot be seen with a light microscope, so you would choose true or false. All right, so this is a true statement because viruses are too small to be seen with a light microscope. Good job. All right, next, true or false, protozoans are prokaryotic. True or false? All right, that was a false statement. Good work, everyone. True or false, cells in domain archaea are prokaryotes. All right, that one is true. True or false, all cells have a cell wall. All right, yes, you all got that right before. You got it right again. It wasn't a fluke. All bacterial cell walls contain what? Bacterial cell walls. Yes, peptidoglycan. Good work. Okay. True or false? Viruses contain genetic material. Yes, they do. They have genes just like you. Cells are usually measured in what unit? Micrometers for the win. All righty. What about those viruses? What unit makes sense to use for them? It is nanometers. It is nanometers. Micrometers are 1,000 times what compared to nanometers? They are larger. They are larger. So 1 micrometer would be 1,000 nanometers. And this one, micrometers are 1,000 times what compared to millimeters? All right, they are smaller. All right, so we're just going to see who gets to be on top of the podium today. Although, of course, I know that since there's only 4 spots, if you don't show up on this podium, you were in number 4, and that is also very excellent. Congratulations, Abby. All right, so we'll close that out for now and go back to our slides. So the questions, of course, should have been easy because we covered them earlier. And a lot of that is background that hopefully you slightly remember from cell biology. But that's basically how the Kahoot works. So what we're going to do now is a reflection and cold call. So I'm going to give you some time to answer these questions on your own. So get out a piece of paper or a Word document or whatever you like to write on, and write out answers to these 3 questions. And then I will cold call. What that means is I will ask a person to answer one of these questions, and then I'll probably ask several people actually. And then we'll move on to the next question. I'll ask different people, and you'll just give your answers. These are kind of open-ended questions. There's really no right or wrong answers, but I do want you to think about them. So take a minute right now and to answer, write down what you would say if you were asked, why is studying microbiology important? What challenges do we face in this field, and what tools are the most helpful or more important in the field? Okay, so take a minute to do that. All right, so hopefully that was enough time for you to feel comfortable. I will cold call. And now, just so you know, it's always fine if I do a cold call for you to say pass. But if you have an answer, or even if you just want to speculate wildly on something that I ask you, because some of the questions will be more like fact-based rather than these open-ended ones, then you're also welcome to do that. You should just speak your mind. But again, it's always fine to say pass in my class. You never have to feel like I was just too on the spot, I'm too distracted, I can't answer this question. All right, so let's start with Celeste. How would you answer this question? Why is studying microbiology important?
I would say that studying microbiology is important because the microbes on Earth sustain all life. So understanding them and then using them for our own mechanisms is important.
Excellent. Love that answer. Let's go to Courtney. What would you say if I asked you why is studying microbiology important?
It's important because we're able to understand certain diseases, and it helps us for all life.
Excellent. Okay, good answer. What about Michaela? What would you say to this question, why is studying microbiology important?
I think it's important because you can get more info on new bacteria and viruses and kind of what they do in the human body, because it's a way to help people with if they get sick or they get new diseases like the autoimmune disease they can't quite cure.
Absolutely. Okay, great answers. I'm just going to open it up for a raise your hand to anyone who has anything that they wrote down that didn't get said and they really want to share. So just do a quick raise your hand if there's something you want to add to this question before we move on to the next one. Good. Okay. Now, what challenges do we face? Let's go to Anna. What challenges do we face in the field of microbiology?
They're hard to study because we can't see them with the naked eye.
Yeah, they're really small and hard to see. That's an excellent answer. How about, let's see, Lucas, what would you say? What challenges do we face in this field?
If we're infected with a virus or bacteria, it could be hard to kill the virus or bacteria without hurting us.
Okay, so treatment is challenging if we don't have enough information. Excellent. Okay. Last person I'll poke is Christine. What challenges do we face in microbiology?
I was just thinking like it might be kind of difficult when we find a new one to like have to understand it better. Like I guess the research into it would take a while.
Yeah, that's a great answer for sure. New ones are just kind of this like black box. We don't know much about them. And so it's going to take more time for us to get up to speed. All right. Is there anything that anybody had that they really want to share? Just go ahead and raise your hand. Jessica, go ahead.
I think like the constant or mutation rate, like it can mutate at a fast rate. So then it'd be hard to like study it at one point and then it just quickly changes. I mean, it's a constant like change.
Yes, change. Oh my goodness. And of course that's so relevant, right? People are really concerned about the coronavirus sort of outpacing our ability to build vaccines and treatments. Justine, what did you want to add?
I also wanted to add that it can be really difficult to replicate other scientists' experiments.
Oh yeah, yeah. So getting sort of consistent data that we can really believe in, for sure. Okay, now let's go to this last question. Last question, what tools are important in this field? I'm going to start with Becca.
I said a microscope because we can't see the organisms with our bare eyes, so a light or electron microscope.
Yeah, definitely a really major tool. Now, I don't want to put anyone on the spot, but if you had an answer that was different and then you wanted to add to that, I'm just going to lower all hands to make sure I'm getting new answers and I'm not bugging someone who had accidentally left their hand up. If you have anything you want to add to this question, what tools are important? Marissa, go ahead.
I said Petri dishes are also important. You need to be able to take swabs of stuff to be able to see how they're growing.
Yeah, Petri dish was actually, seems like so simple and we kind of take them for granted, but they were revolutionary. Annika, go ahead. What was your answer?
I had DNA sequencers and curiosity.
Yes, beautiful. So yes, genetics has really revolutionized this field beyond the sort of so the physical tools of microscopes, and curiosity, an important intellectual tool. Amber, what would you like to add?
Well, I was on the same line there. I said open-mindedness, perseverance, and advancements in technology.
Excellent. Yes, technology is a big one, right? Technology has really driven this field, and every sort of quantum leap forward that we've made has been because someone invented some new tool and we're like, oh shoot, now we can understand or investigate or look at things we couldn't before. Dylan, what would you like to add?
Yeah, I was gonna say culture media and then also incubation equipment. Like you need to be able to run consecutive batches of tests on microbes, especially for finding like an antibiotic or an antiviral.
Yeah, so multiplexing, being able to do high throughput experiments, and then also you sort of alluded to this, but I will expand on it because I think it's a really important point. The incubation technology. So if you have an organism that needs a type of environment that's not like just, you know, you can't just stick it out on the counter, it needs a particular temperature, it needs a particular gaseous environment, having the ability to replicate those conditions is really important. Fabulous answers. Okay, let us move on So this course, and we'll talk more about this on Thursday because we'll go sort of dive in deep on the intro, has these units. There's actually 3. I reorganized it, so I apologize for this. But the first unit, we're going to talk about sort of introduction to the field and basic concepts. And then that's chapter 1. Chapter 2 is all about microscopy and staining. So the tool of microscopes, what all different kinds of microscopes we have, and the staining techniques that you'll learn a little bit more about than you probably ever wanted to. And cell biology. So you remember you took a whole class in cell biology. We're going to kind of cover that in 2 days. And so you dust all that stuff off. The second unit is pretty heavy. It has all the hard stuff in it. It's also the fun stuff for me because this is my like bread and butter, but it's the biochemistry, the metabolism, the growth, which is an application of those things. It's the genetics, it's viruses. That's the second unit. And the final unit is, I think, more applied and very relevant to the field most of you are going into, and I think the most fun for most people because you have acquired a basic foundation. And then also this is like, you know, talks about real world stuff. So pathogenesis, the study of disease, epidemiology, which is sort of about populations and disease and spread and treatments and stuff. And then immunology, which is how we fight back. All right, so I am going to do what I call a speed cold call, okay? So I have these 16 questions, and this is one of those like psychological things, you know, I don't know what the right word is, where you just like give one word or one phrase really fast in response, and it doesn't have to be right, don't overthink it, okay? So I'm gonna say the phrase, and I'm gonna call your name, and you're just gonna say the first word that comes to your mind. If you are really like not a person who does well in that setting and it just freaks you out, all you have to do is say pass. If your mind is just completely blank, and there's no shame in that at all. And if you do that, it also gives other people permission to feel safe to do that. So please know that that's really a legit option for you. However, whatever first comes to mind, don't overthink it, doesn't have to be right. So let's start with, let's see, let's go to Angela. Why do microbes matter? First thing that comes to mind.
Toxins.
Toxins, excellent. Athena, how do we study them? First thing that comes to mind.
I'd say microscopes.
Excellent. Diana, what are bacteria made of? First thing that comes to mind.
Single cell.
Excellent. Edgar, how do bacteria differ from eukaryotes? First thing that comes to mind. Are you there, Edgar?
Right, yeah. Let's see. I'm trying to think.
And it's always fine to say pass if you're not sure. There's no shame in that. But if something does pop into your head, go ahead and say it.
Oh, passing this one.
Okay, no problem. We will come back around for you, so don't worry. Jackie, how do microbes get energy? First thing that comes to mind for you.
Hi. Photosynthesis.
Excellent. Okay. What do bacteria need to grow? Joanna. First thing that comes to mind.
I'm gonna say pass.
Also absolutely fine. No worries. Let's go to Jordan. What are the stages of growth?
I have no clue, sorry.
Excellent. See, guys, these people are so brave, and I appreciate you guys so much. You're making everyone else kind of relax and go, oh, it's okay, I don't have to know the answer. How do we measure growth? Karen.
In Petri dishes.
Okay, great. Let's see. Carrie Ann, how do bacteria replicate? First thing that comes to mind.
I'm not sure, but maybe mitosis.
Okay, great. Leah, what controls bacterial gene expression? First thing that comes to mind. Say again.
Pass.
Okay, yes, that's what I thought you said. I just wanted to make sure. Thank you very much. What are viruses made of, Paisley?
Different types of, oh my gosh. I don't know. I'm just thinking of like the foundation of a cell, rough endoplasmic reticulum, and all the different cell parts.
Okay, great. Let's go to Marissa. How do viruses replicate?
I'm not sure, but probably mitosis or meiosis.
Okay, great. Let's go to Becca. How do microbial pathogens hurt us?
I'd say pass.
Excellent. Abby Selbeck, because there's two Abby's, so I have to say which one it is. How do microbial diseases spread?
Throughout different people, I feel like if you're just like close to each other or
Okay, great. Excellent. What defenses do we have against disease, Dylan?
Mucus.
Okay, how do we develop immunity? And let's see, who haven't I asked yet? Anthony, I don't think I've asked you. How do we develop immunity?
So we develop immunity kind of just like from repetition, like seeing the same sort of viruses and bacteria over and over again, building up immunity from that kind of stuff.
Excellent. Okay, fabulous. So what you probably noticed is, oh my gosh, some of these questions are easier than others and some are hard. You probably noticed if you were the one on the spot, what that experience was like, or even just listening to somebody else kind of either have an answer right away or not have one. So all of these experiences are valid, and that's sort of the range of what you can experience in this class. And again, it's really important that you understand, I'm not expecting you to know the answers to these, but many of these questions you're gonna, well, all of them, hopefully by the end of this class, not today, but by the end of the quarter, you'll know the answers to these. And so I want you to sort of look forward to that. And also probably for some of you, maybe when someone was just kind of like, for a second, not able to kind of pull an answer up, maybe for you, because you weren't in that hot seat, you were like, oh, well, this is how I would answer it. And so all of these things are useful, right? This experience of kind of being on the spot puts us in this tension place that we might experience on a test, and learning how to work through that, or just also accept sort of some of the time we don't have all the answers, but that's what the class is for. And also I'm seeding you. I just want to be transparent of what I'm doing. I'm kind of hypnotizing you. I'm seeding some of the really major questions in this course and ideas that I want you to know when we're done. So a great job. Everything that you did, whether you didn't get a chance to answer, but sat there kind of just contributing to our global consciousness and thinking about it, or if you had just a moment of panic and couldn't come up with an answer, and now you think of a great one, or you're just not sure about something at all, or you had a good answer, or you had one right to hand. All of these things, I thank you for that. Okay, great. So I want to just briefly talk about lab. I'm going to spend more time in the actual lab meetings, but I do, aware that some people won't be able to make those meetings, and so I do want to say a few things about that. So I want to remind you first that if you care about who you're working with, please take the opportunity that you have between now and Wednesday to join a lab group. I showed you how to do that. It's really important for every lab that you start the prep for it early. So just out the gate Monday, obviously not feasible to do this week because everything is happening and it's the start of the quarter. But typically your goal should be Monday, I'm making time to read the lab, or maybe Tuesday, read lab background and instructions. It's posted well ahead of time, so if Monday and Tuesday are shitty days for you, then do it on the previous weekend. By Thursday of most weeks, but Friday of this week, you need to submit your pre-lab 1 quiz. The pre-lab 1 quiz is unlimited attempts. Until the deadline, there's no time limit. Of course, once the deadline hits, whatever you have is submitted. And you can see your answers. And then you'll see the answer key after the deadline passes. So this is really to help you kind of investigate, did I read the background? Did I understand the background? And then there is a collaborative component in most every lab. So you want to post in the lab 1 discussion once you've read the instructions and you know what that collaborative part will look like, and say, this is the part that I'm going to do. Or if you read the instructions and you're completely baffled because I write too much and it's like you're not really sure what I was asking you to do, if you did this prep early, you'd be able to write me an email and ask. All right, so post in the lab 1 discussion by Friday this week, but normally by Thursday, to say this is the part of the collaborative part or the group work that I'm going to do, and then follow up no later than Saturday to produce that work. for your lab mates. The final deadline is Sunday, but you don't want to be posting that stuff for your lab mates on Sunday and then they've got to like scramble to put it all together. That's a little bit rude. So do your work on time, please. Again, optional lab meeting during the week. The first one is tomorrow night. The next one is Thursday midday after class. And then the final one is Saturday for those of you who these other ones just don't work for. It is optional. So if none of them work for you, that's okay. Do make sure to order your lab kit, although you can wait until Monday. All right, the other thing I want to talk to you about is what to do before the next class. So again, orientation module is due. There's a bunch of things to do there. Do read and prepare and watch the videos, read the slides, read the chapter. On this intro to micro topic page that I showed you, watch all those videos. You don't have to understand everything perfectly, but you do want to use it as if that was your like lecture time. And then you come to class having been exposed to the material. There will be the page that's labeled with the date of the Zoom when we cover that material will be already published, and there will be a slide deck in there that is a skeleton version of what we cover in the classroom. And so you'll be able to download that ahead of time if that's helpful to you, so you can fill it in during class if that's how you learn best. If you're going to miss class or if you know you're going to miss some other important deadline or event, let me know. Okay, so let's see. I actually have, I wonder, hold on, I thought, oh dear. Okay, yes. That is where I'm ending class today. I thought there was one other thing I wanted to tell you, but I took it out. So I will revisit it on Thursday. So our class usually goes up to the full time, just to give you just so you know that's the case. We almost always take the entire time. So it's just today is a bit of a shorter day. I didn't want to overwhelm you on the first day, and there's not much more to say. But if you have questions at the end of class, we always take a little bit of time. And so we're going to do that today. I am going to, whoops. I am going to stop the screen share, and also I'm going to stop the recording, and then I will take your questions.